In the Rialto Unified School District, part of our mission states that we will have learning opportunities beyond the traditional school setting, and that we will have an appreciation of universal diversity. Today on the Bridge podcast, we talk about an educational trip students recently took to historically Black colleges and universities, also known as HBCUs. Please welcome Carter High School student Eileen Emerson, Rialto High School student K. Miles Davis, and Dr. Ayanna Ibrahim-Balogun, Rialto Unified School District Principal on Special Assignment, Equity, Access, and Excellence. Thank you first for being here, Eileen, Miles, and of course, Dr. Balogun. So happy for all of you to be here. HBCU, I know you guys look so excited, and we were just talking a little bit before we started this podcast of so many similarities that we have. We'll get into that. But first, please, Dr. Balogun, tell me the importance of HBCU, the tours, and what these students and other students in the Rialto Unified School District had experienced.
Thank you for that question. We really don't have any HBCUs in California. HBCU stands for Historically Black Colleges and Universities. And because we don't have any in California, we thought we'd give our juniors and seniors the opportunity to be exposed to what those campuses are like and what the culture is like at those particular universities. And I believe we had a great time. We started off in North Carolina, and then we went on to Virginia. And then migrating. Yes. And then we went to Baltimore, Maryland, and we ended up in Washington, D.C.
And this was a bus trip.
This was, it started off, we flew into North Carolina, and then we took a charter bus all the way through those three different
Now,
states.
when you're saying we, Doc, you're talking about Carter High School, Rialto students, as well as Eisenhower students?
As well as Myler and Zupanik.
Got it.
Yes.
Make sure. Okay.
Yes.
So, Eileen, start it off.
Girl, all I gotta say is it was an experience and of a lifetime. I don't regret going. The chaperones were amazing and very approachable.
Were they knowledgeable? Were they informing you about what where your college and career choices can be?
Yes, they were actually like pointing a little little hints out, like saying, "Oh, are you confused about this? Like, do you want to ask them about that?" And I was like, yeah. So she actually got me like almost like recruited to Norfolk, and I think it was in Virginia. Yes, it was in Norfolk in Virginia. Winston was amazing. It was just a lifetime of experience. I don't regret it.
Good.
Highly recommend it.
Excellent. What about you, Miles? I know you're from Carter High School. We're moving to Carter High School, and you are my Rialto High School student. Okay, so how was it, Miles?
It was the best experience I've ever been.
I know. I feel like I'm experiencing it all over.
Yes, it was like just since the first day, like even at the airport, like I just knew it was going to be. Everybody's connected. I knew it was going to have so much fun.
No, this is so awesome. But I guess my question is, and this is great energy. I feel like I'm going there with you right now. What were the criterias, and how many students did we take from the Rialto Unified School District?
So the students it was open to all 9th through 12th grade students at all the 4 different high schools. We had them fill out an application. We also had them complete an essay, as well as turn in transcripts and get a letter of recommendation.
Good. So this was a process.
So it was a process. And so we also asked for GPAs. We used, that to make some decisions, and part of their answers determined if they were really interested in going to an HBCU. And then we ended up taking 38 students. Based on the initial number, there were 60 students who applied. And based on that initial number of 30, because that was what our budget allotted for, but because the essays were so good and the letters of recommendations were so good, we decided to find more funding and take more than 30. So,
excellent.
Yes, it was very eye-opening.
So I know you had mentioned a little bit about this was fun. It was informative, knowledgeable. You had an opportunity to talk to some of the chaperones about which schools that they were hinting at and so forth. What about the camaraderie? Because we don't have many opportunities sometimes. We're, not that we're silos, but we're at Carter over here, Eisenhower's over here, Rialto's over here, but we're still under the umbrella of the Rialto Unified School District.
Correct.
So
Yes.
it looks like there's camaraderie here.
So let me tell you all about it.
It's actually a funny story.
Once we got into the bus, everybody was either sitting with their friends and stuff like that and people that they knew. But by the time we got to the airport, everybody knew everybody. Everybody met everybody. Like, it was like we all went to school with each other.
It's like we clicked like that.
It
And I
clicked.
don't even know her,
Like,
but
we
I knew that was gonna be my friend. Like,
Right. So you're walking over to each other going, you're from Carter? Oh, I'm from Rialto High.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
there. And so there was no problems.
It was
No. No,
Everybody
we
got
had-
along.
They
There
got
was
along.
no, my football team's better than your football team.
No.
It was
Well,
none of that.
been
It was
some of
none
that.
It
We
was
had,
none of
well,
that.
we had some sweatshirt rivalry going on between the teams, but it was all representing the pride they had in their high school.
Absolutely.
I think we started talking about the students feeling comfortable with each other because, first of all, they had never been on a bus with just other African American students. And that experience alone, I think, let some of the guard down as far as you're from Carter, you're from Eisenhower. We're all about to take this trip together. And so we got to get to know each other and figure out what
wonderful.
it is. Yeah, it was great. And figure out if this is what we really want.
Who all went along with you for chaperones they were mentioning?
We had two counselors, one from Rialto High School, Dr. Stephen Piguet, and Miss Joyce Hampton from Carter High School. We had one of our administrators, our principal, Henry Elementary, Dr. Mitzi Moreland went along, as well as myself.
Okay,
So-
excellent. So you have the chaperones, you have about 40 students, and everyone's getting along. Everybody's noticing different schools. So I'm going to throw this out now. What were some of your favorite HBCU schools that you went to? Who goes first?
My favorite number one is Norfolk University.
Okay.
I love
Why?
that atmosphere. Like, it felt like home. Like, they was welcoming. Also, thanks to Dr. Balogun, we both almost basically got
were
recruited to the
Okay.
track team. Only problem was the application, decision day and all that. So, number two, Morgan State. My future alma mater, yes. And number three, I would have to say Hampton University.
Hampton University. And what about you?
Well, in tribute to Miss Hampton, I would say Hampton University, but my first three would be Winston, because Winston is a small campus, but it's very welcoming. It was like you could see everything from one campus and everything. Like, you saw the awards, like the steppings, everything is just in one spot, and I loved it. The other one I would say is Norfolk.
Norfolk got both loves.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
absolutely. Okay.
Because we were recruitable, we got recruited, we got the application. Sadly, I didn't get as much money as on a scholarship, so I had to go with the other hand. But and then the third one, I'd say like Morgan. I did a dance off. I hit that
dance off
drop
in front of everybody.
I
It
sure
was,
did.
mind you, it was a
I
dance
sure
off.
did.
It was her, this 18-year-old, and like a 10-year-old.
little kid.
Put your business out on Front Street.
It was little kids.
This 18-year-old, how old are you?
I will.
But I'm saying it for a reference, like her being 18 and she would have given these little kids.
I was not being soft.
And
Like, they
what?
was gonna get all heat. Like, I hit the death drop on it. I couldn't breathe for a second, but I did it. Like,
Well, I just want to say these are great choices, and I feel bad for Mr. Hardy Brown, which we both know, because he would have said, "Where's Wilberforce? Where's
Right.
Wilberforce?" Because he's a
Right.
Wilberforce guy. But this is awesome. And you went to what middle school and which elementary school in Rialto Unified?
I went to Cole Middle School and Preston Elementary.
All right. And where did you go?
And I went to Frisbee Middle School and Myers Elementary.
Excellent. So you were a dragon, and
I
you were a
am.
falcon, and you were a cougar, and you were a panther. There you go.
No, I was just going to add, I want to commend these two. They're giddy and laughing because we're super excited about today
Right.
and this opportunity to share it with you and just the community. But these young people were up at night studying, doing their homework, as well as training, because both of them are athletes and both of them were in the finals. And so when we would come home from a long day, you would see them both in the weight rooms lifting and really sweating and getting it in. So they're scholar athletes, and that's why I think they had the opportunity to be recruited at Norfolk State because, of their commitment.
Well,
and so
with the support of the Board of Education and with the direction that the superintendent, Dr. Avila, is going, this is what we want to see. We want to see young scholars who are on their A game, who are putting academics in the forefront, but also enjoy some social, emotional support. And that's why our district affords the opportunity for students like this, students like you, to go and have that kind of experience, what you said, of a lifetime. So whether it doesn't make a difference which university or which college you choose, it's that you were given a choice, that you were taken somewhere where we wouldn't have gone here before. We wouldn't have thought about it.
Right.
But guess what? Our district made that opportunity available. And I think for our deserving students. So that's important. I want to also thank you, Dr. Balogun, because I know that you're not sitting next to a person who just kind of popped in here. She is actually the leader of the Equity and Access and Equity Access Excellence. Yes. And I know it's a lot of words, but you have been in the district for, I believe, 28, 29 years. Can you give us a little background of where have you been?
Well, I started off as an instructional assistant at Rialto High School, actually, in 94, and then kind of just moved my way up, became a substitute teacher, and then became a teacher. My first teaching position was at Curtis Elementary. And after Curtis, I went to Frisbee Middle School. I was there as a teacher and as a literacy coach. And then I got flipped to the admin side of things and started helping lead that in that way. And then I moved to Warner Elementary as an assistant principal and then principal, and now doing this work of equity in our district.
And I know for the University of Redlands, you do a lot of outreach, and you have been in several conferences, aside from the Rialto Unified School District, talking about equity and access and the fact that we do need to have some sort of a recognition of there's so many students out there, and Latino students, African American students, Asian students, so many different sections of our community, and they're all looking for something. And so this is why we feel that your work is so important here in the Rialto Unified School District. So thank you for that. No, I appreciate that. And wait a minute, I got to go back to you too, because there's so much. I love the way that Dr. Balogun kind of calmed it down. So wait a minute. These are scholars. I know they're having a lot of fun.
That was go time.
You can tell it's like senior time, at end of the year time. What are some of your goals? What would you like to end up doing after you graduate college and university? And what is the college and university of your choice?
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, I haven't really came out to my friends or my family about what college I actually went to. So before we even started the broadcast, y'all was the first ones to know. Well, second.
Go ahead, drum roll.
So I am committing to Cal State Fullerton. I am officially a Titan.
Excellent.
And what else did you ask me? You said.
And then I said, what do you want to be? What is your career choice?
I'm studying kinesiology. I would like to be an embalmer in mortuary science. So
that is a very different career.
Yeah.
I love it. Wow. How did you come up with that? How did you think this is what I want to do?
I actually was asking myself the same thing too. Like, I never really thought I was going to be wanting to deal with like that type of era, but after
it's a very challenging profession.
Mm-hmm, but after going to the ER, something happened, and I'm like, I don't want to be a nurse.
Okay.
But I also want to help like people. So then I was looking on YouTube. It just popped up, and I was like, I want to do that.
Well, I wish you good luck, Eileen.
Yes.
I'm sure you're going to be the best because you're a Rialto Unified School District soon-to-be alumni. So
Period.
Excellent. What about you, Miles?
Okay, so I am going to Morgan State University. Go Bears! Yes, and I am studying nursing.
Okay.
And my minor is African American Studies.
Excellent.
Yes.
Well, you got somebody right on the right side of you that's going to help you out a little bit on that.
And then
So
my
you're in good
future
hands.
goal is to possibly become a nurse. only because I love the human body, like the way it works and how like to fix it and all that.
To help.
Yes. I'm a Rialto High School student trainer, so I'm familiar. During football season, they was getting hurt left to right, but it was interesting.
Oh my gosh, don't say that. No, we're beating them. We're not getting hurt.
No, we're helping them.
Right.
But they got. But
I know.
I had to help them. But yes.
And then they were winning.
then they won.
Yeah, football. Football. You can't.
Yeah, I know.
Anyway, yeah.
You're right. They get hurt. So that's how you got involved.
Yeah,
You're
so
like,
that's how I'm about learning how to rap. The head trainer, Miss Irene, helping us learn how to like put the motion of the hand to get them rap and just icing them, and then just seeing stuff that interests me, and I like that.
Oh, wonderful.
And then I chose African American Studies for my minor, simply because history. I love history so much. Like that's like my number one topic in school. I just feel like it's not more inclusive when it comes to African American studies. So I do want to become a teacher and teach that side of history to the upcoming
scholars that are coming up.
Scholars.
Excellent. Well, thank you. Thank you, Eileen, for being here. Thank you, Miles, for being here. And if I could let Dr. Balogun end this out with, are we doing this in the future? Are we budgeting for the HBCU? For you have two people here that are cheerleading this program. And so is this something that was, when you came back, when you assess everything in education services and with, the administrators at the district office and with teachers and with counselors, is this something that is going to be continued or looked into for the future?
Absolutely. As long as our money and our amazing board supports the work. One of the things that came out the most when we were reading the essays, which is why we increased the number, was that there is a feeling of our students were only 8%. African American students are only 8% of the population. And so one of the biggest reasons that we decided to take them to an HBCU was so that they can have the feeling of being included and feeling like they belong there. And so when the team read the essays, and I wasn't the only one on the team, there was about 30 of us on the team, they said that we need to make sure that we send these students to a place where they may feel more included. And when they presented to the board, we had several students present to the board. Two board members did say that this was something that we wanted to commit to as long as we can, because the exposure, we can expose them to many schools here in California, but very rarely do we get to go outside of California. And I think our families, we can't expect them to always take the students to different HBCUs. Right. So if we can send them up north and we can send them to different athletics, we can also send them to different types of universities, a part of our strategic plan. And so as long as the district is sponsoring it
and supporting it,
yes, then I think it's something that is very much needed. So
thank you so much, Dr. Balogun, and thank you, Miles, and thank you, Eileen. And I want to see you guys in a couple of years. I want to see the smiles on your faces and how you're doing in your first, second, third year of college. And I want to one day see if you can come back here and help the students of the Rialto Unified School District. So my future LVN or RN and my future embalmer, I'm trying to stay away from you as long as I can. But at the same time, I do want you to come back here, because I think sometimes when we have very creative and challenging professions, there might be students who are interested in that as well. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Appreciate it. Thank you. And I want to thank you for being here. I'm Saida Joffrey. I'll see you next time on the Bridge Podcast.